Hello, friends. If you're curious about the movie 300, 2006, you're in the perfect place. Don't forget to give this video a quick like, it really helps us out. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to stay updated on all the latest movie deep dives. Let's jump right in. 300 is not just a film, it's a battle cry, an epic that grabs hold of your senses and doesn't let go. Directed by Zack Snyder and based on Frank Miller's graphic novel, this film takes us to the brutal, sun-scorched plains of ancient Greece, where a legendary battle between the Spartans and the Persian Empire will decide the fate of the world. With its striking visual style, larger-than-life characters, and pulse-pounding action, 300 isn't just a historical retelling. It's a cinematic experience that leaves you breathless. In the movie's opening moments, we are thrust into the heart of Sparta, a city-state known for its fierceness and unwavering commitment to war. We meet King Leonidas, played by Gerard Butler, whose performance radiates intensity and raw power. As we follow his journey, we are reminded of the core essence of the Spartan people, a relentless, almost fanatical dedication to their way of life, their warriors, and their code of honor. This isn't just a story about fighting. It's a story about sacrifice, courage, and the pursuit of glory against overwhelming odds. The film opens with a scene that immediately sets the stage. We see a young Leonidas facing a harsh Spartan upbringing, forged into a man through brutality and discipline. It's a world where warriors are born, not made. When the Persian Empire, led by the tyrannical Xerxes, played by Rodrigo Santoro, threatens to conquer all of Greece, King Leonidas decides that Sparta must stand its ground. Despite being outnumbered by hundreds of thousands, he leads a small but ferocious army of 300 warriors to the narrow pass at Thermopylae, where they will make their stand. This battle, which would later be immortalized in history, becomes a symbol of defiance, courage, and ultimate sacrifice. The plot of 300 is straightforward yet gripping. King Leonidas, aware of the overwhelming forces that Xerxes commands, marches to the pass of Thermopylae to delay the Persian army's advance, hoping to buy time for other Greek city-states to prepare for battle. Alongside him, his 300 elite soldiers, men who have been trained from childhood to be warriors, stand as a testament to the Spartan way of life. Despite the massive disparity in numbers, the Spartans hold their ground, battling the Persian forces in what can only be described as one of the most intense, brutal, and heroic standoffs in cinematic history. From the very beginning, the film pulls you into its world with its distinct visual style. The highly stylized cinematography, which uses vibrant colors and sharp contrasts, creates an almost dreamlike atmosphere. The slow-motion action sequences are not just for show, they emphasize the raw power of each blow, each movement. This isn't a traditional war film, it's a visual poem, a brutal ballet of blood and steel. One of the most fascinating aspects of 300 is how it weaves the story of the battle into a broader narrative about leadership, honor, and the price of freedom. Leonidas, portrayed with fierce determination by Gerard Butler, is not just a king. He's a symbol of defiance. When he consults the Oracle of Delphi, who warns him that Sparta cannot win, Leonidas refuses to bow to fate. His resolve is clear: Sparta will stand, even if it means certain death. But his decision isn't one of madness, it's one of belief. He believes that the Spartan way of life, a life forged in the crucible of war, is worth defending, no matter the cost. As the Spartans face wave after wave of Persian soldiers, the stakes rise. The battle is one of attrition, and while the Spartans prove themselves to be masters of combat, the Persians are relentless. The sheer numbers of Xerxes' army are almost unfathomable. As the film progresses, we see how the battle evolves, with Leonidas' tactical genius taking center stage. Every strategy, every sacrifice, is designed to buy time, to give the Greeks a chance to unite against the Persian threat. But it's not just about fighting. It's about the personalities that drive the action. The film gives us a glimpse into the heart and soul of Sparta, where strength, honor, and loyalty are paramount. Leonidas' right-hand man, the stoic and deadly captain, played by Vincent Regan, is a key figure in the story, providing support, strategy, and brotherhood to his king. Then there's Dilios, played by David Wenham, the film's narrator, whose voice gives us insight into the emotional undercurrent of the battle. Dilios provides a human perspective, grounding the epic in personal stakes and relationships. His story is just as important as the action because it reminds us that this is a battle for survival, not just for territory or glory. The conflict doesn't just unfold on the battlefield. Back in Sparta, Queen Gorgo, played by Lena Headey, plays a crucial role in the political aspect of the story. She attempts to rally support for her husband's mission, while also grappling with the betrayal and manipulation of the corrupt politician Theron, played by Dominic. Gorgo is not a passive character. She fights her own battles with intelligence, courage, and a determination to see her husband's legacy fulfilled. Her subplot adds another layer to the film's broader themes of sacrifice and honor. While Leonidas is away fighting, she takes matters into her own hands, working behind the scenes to try to convince the council to send reinforcements. Throughout the film, the power dynamics between the two sides, the Spartans and the Persians, are constantly explored. The Persians are portrayed as decadent, relying on vast numbers, wealth, and the manipulation of fear, while the Spartans represent the ideal of self-reliance, strength, and bravery in the face of insurmountable odds. Xerxes, with his almost godlike presence, stands as the perfect foil to Leonidas. Where Leonidas is rugged and human, Xerxes is divine and detached, presenting a challenge not only to the Spartans but to the ideals they represent. As the battle reaches its climax, the Spartans' courage is tested in ways they could never have anticipated. The Persians, it turns out, have an ace up their sleeve. Despite their initial losses, they bring in an army of unexpected soldiers, shifting the tide in their favor. The Spartans, faced with impossible odds, remain unyielding, but it becomes increasingly clear that this fight is one of survival, not victory. The true weight of their sacrifice hits hard when we see the devastating final stand, but it's not just about the physical battle, it's about the emotional toll. We witness the pain and loss of each Spartan soldier as they fall in battle. The death of each warrior is a testament to their bravery, and their willingness to die for their country, their families, and their way of life becomes a powerful motif in the film. The tragedy of their sacrifice is tempered by the knowledge that they gave everything for the cause, making their deaths resonate in a way that goes beyond just the action. 300 teases its twists and turns masterfully, with each new challenge adding another layer of tension. The decision to send a small number of soldiers to face an empire's wrath seems almost absurd, yet the Spartans fight with an unshakable belief that their actions will echo through history. The ultimate sacrifice of the 300 Spartans isn't in vain. It sparks a flame that will inspire others to take up arms and fight back against tyranny. The climax of the film is one of pure spectacle, with each battle sequence more intense than the last. The final moments of 300 are both tragic and triumphant, encapsulating the film's core themes: honor, sacrifice, and the unyielding will to stand against oppression. The Spartans may fall, but their legacy, their story, will live on. It's a story about making a stand when the world seems to be against you, and the film ends on a note that serves as a tribute to that timeless spirit of resistance. By the time the credits roll, 300 leaves us with more than just the memory of blood and battle. It leaves us with the sense that we've witnessed something extraordinary. It's a film about heroism, a film that makes you want to stand taller and fight harder, no matter the odds. So, what are the key takeaways from 300? It's about the power of belief, the strength of conviction, and the impact of standing firm in your ideals. And most importantly, it's about the spirit of the Spartan warriors, who, though vastly outnumbered, showed the world that sometimes the greatest victory is simply choosing to fight when the world tells you that you cannot win. The sun blazes overhead, the dust swirling in the air as the Spartan warriors prepare for the battle that will define their legacy. 300 opens with the stark, fierce visuals that will dominate the film's aesthetic, a world of blood, steel, and the uncompromising will to survive. We are introduced to a young Leonidas, who, in his youth, is thrust into the harsh training grounds of Sparta. It's here that he begins his transformation from a boy into the ruthless warrior king the world will remember. From the very first moments of the film, the brutal Spartan way of life is laid bare before us, a life dedicated to discipline, strength, and sacrifice. As the narrative unfolds, we meet the powerful King Leonidas, played by Gerard Butler, a man forged by a harsh and unforgiving world. He is not just a leader, he is a symbol of Spartan pride and defiance. The film takes us through Leonidas's decision to confront the Persian Empire, which, under the command of the tyrannical Xerxes, threatens to conquer Greece. As the Persian army marches across the lands, their goal is clear: to bring all of Greece to its knees. But Leonidas refuses to bow. The film's first key event unfolds when Leonidas, recognizing the impending danger, seeks counsel from the Oracle of Delphi. The oracle's cryptic prophecy warns that Sparta cannot stand against the might of the Persian Empire, a prophecy that would send most into retreat. But Leonidas, ever the warrior, makes a decision that will have monumental consequences. He will not wait for the fall of Sparta, he will take action. With unwavering resolve, Leonidas decides to march his army to the narrow pass at Thermopylae, where they can make their stand against the Persians. This is where the film truly begins to pick up momentum. As he assembles his army, the camera zooms in on the 300 men that will accompany him. These warriors, hand-picked for their strength and skill, are not mere soldiers, they are the epitome of Spartan excellence. Each of them is trained from birth to fight, to endure, and to die for their city-state. They are brothers in arms, bound by a code of loyalty and honor that transcends the mortal realm. The 300 are not just fighters, they are living, breathing symbols of resistance. The journey to Thermopylae is marked by their fierce determination, and the film's cinematography highlights the stark contrast between the bright, desolate landscape and the dark, brooding warriors. The Spartans are depicted as relentless in their pursuit of glory. The pacing is deliberate, with every movement, every word, carrying weight. As the Spartans march into battle, they know that they face an army far larger than their own. The odds are stacked against them, but the Spartans are not intimidated. They stand firm, knowing that this battle, though seemingly hopeless, is a chance to prove that their way of life will not be extinguished by tyranny. Upon reaching Thermopylae, the tension rises. The Spartans face an overwhelming force led by Xerxes, who is portrayed as an almost godlike figure. His appearance is striking, tall, regal, and surrounded by an air of arrogance. Xerxes is not just a conqueror. He is a man who believes in his own divinity. He offers Leonidas the opportunity to surrender and bow to his will, a moment that speaks volumes about the moral divide between the two leaders. Leonidas, however, refuses. His answer is simple and defiant: this is Sparta. With that, the battle begins. The first clash between the Spartans and the Persian forces is an epic display of martial skill. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the Spartans fight with unparalleled precision. The choreography of the battle scenes is masterful, each movement sharp, calculated, and brutal. The Persians, though numerous, are no match for the Spartans' discipline. The Spartans fight as one, their movements fluid and synchronized, a testament to their years of training and unity. The sheer ferocity of their combat is enough to send a message to the Persians: the Spartans are not to be underestimated. As the battle progresses, the Persians begin to bring out their more exotic and terrifying forces: elephants, archers, and even monstrous warriors. Yet the Spartans stand tall, their swords and shields never faltering. The visual style of the film plays a huge role in conveying the intensity of these scenes. The camera sways and shifts in slow motion, magnifying the power of each strike, each clash. The use of slow motion highlights the brutal force of every blow and creates a sense of heightened drama. It's not just a battle for survival, it's a battle for the very soul of Sparta. The film's tone becomes increasingly charged as it explores the tension between the Spartan way of life and the Persian invasion. The Spartans are not just defending their land, they are defending their identity, their code, and their future. Leonidas's leadership is the core of the film's emotional drive. His bond with his men, his courage in the face of almost certain death, and his unwavering belief in the Spartan way of life resonate deeply. He is not a king in the traditional sense. He is a warrior king, a man who leads by example rather than command. In parallel to the battle, we see the political drama unfolding in Sparta. Queen Gorgo, played by Lena Headey, is a pivotal figure in this aspect of the plot. She is not just a woman of the court, she is a force in her own right. As her husband, Leonidas, leads his men into battle, she fights her own battles in the political arena. She is confronted by the corrupt politician Theron, played by Dominic, who seeks to undermine Leonidas's cause and prevent Sparta from sending reinforcements. Queen Gorgo, however, proves to be every bit as fierce and determined as her husband. She uses her intelligence and cunning to navigate the treacherous political landscape, hoping to rally support for the Spartan cause. Her role adds an essential layer to the story, showing that the fight for freedom is not just physical. It's also fought through words, strategy, and diplomacy. As the battle at Thermopylae rages on, the film takes a darker turn. The Persians, growing frustrated by their inability to break the Spartan lines, begin to resort to more underhanded tactics. They use deceit, offering gold and power to traitors within the Spartan ranks. A spy, Ephialtes, plays a crucial role in the unraveling of the Spartan defense. Ephialtes, a deformed and disfigured man, betrays his people, revealing a secret pass that allows the Persians to flank the Spartans and surround them. His betrayal is a pivotal moment in the plot, one that changes the course of the battle and sets the stage for the ultimate sacrifice of the 300. The emotional stakes rise as the Spartans realize they have been betrayed. Despite the betrayal, however, Leonidas's resolve never wavers. The film builds to an emotional climax as the Spartans fight to the death, holding their ground against overwhelming odds. Each death is not just a loss, it's a testament to the warrior spirit, to the unyielding resolve of the Spartans. The film's use of slow motion during these final moments amplifies the emotional weight of the battle, making each loss feel personal and deeply felt. It's a poignant reminder that, in war, victory is not always defined by the number of lives saved, but by the courage shown in the face of certain death. As the first part of the story comes to a close, we are left with the haunting image of the Spartans standing tall, their bodies broken but their spirits unyielding. The battle at Thermopylae, though lost, has become a symbol of resistance, a rallying cry for others to rise up against the Persian threat. The sacrifice of the 300 is not in vain, for their courage inspires the rest of Greece to unite and fight back. The story of their stand will echo through history, ensuring that their bravery will never be forgotten. The first half of 300 builds the foundation for a legendary battle. It sets the stage for the ultimate sacrifice, the moment when the Spartans, against all odds, become immortal. Every battle sequence, every strategic move, and every emotional moment serves to deepen our understanding of what the Spartans were fighting for. Not just freedom, but the preservation of their way of life, their honor, and their identity. This is a film that doesn't just depict war. It explores the heart of what it means to fight for what you believe in, no matter the cost. As the Spartans make their stand at Thermopylae, the tension in the air grows ever thicker. After the devastating betrayal by Ephialtes, Leonidas and his men are left in a desperate situation. With the Persian forces closing in from behind, the last-ditch effort to hold the line becomes a fight not just for survival, but for the very principles that Sparta represents. In these final moments, the heroism of the 300 is on full display as they prepare for their ultimate fate. The situation looks dire. The Persians, having taken the secret pass, now flank the Spartans. The odds are overwhelmingly stacked against the 300, but Leonidas remains resolute. This is not just a battle for his life, but a stand for the values of honor, courage, and defiance that have been instilled in him and his warriors. The film doesn't shy away from the brutal realities of war. With each death, the sacrifice feels heavier, the weight of the men's bravery growing. The Spartans' resolve is tested to the limits as they face an oncoming flood of Persian soldiers, their numbers seemingly endless. The emotion is palpable as the battle reaches its inevitable conclusion. The camera lingers on Leonidas, his face etched with the determination to see his mission through, no matter the personal cost. It's not just his life he's giving, It's the very essence of Spartan warrior pride. As the battle rages on, the Spartans continue to fight with valor, holding off wave after wave of the Persian army. The choreography of the battle scenes is intense, every fight sequence intricately planned, with slow-motion shots that make every strike, every clash, feel both monumental and heartbreaking. The brutality of the battle is not just in the violence. It's in the realization that these warriors are about to be erased from history, despite their heroism. As Leonidas and his men are surrounded, the Spartans realize the outcome is no longer in their hands. They know they are fighting a losing battle, but they will not go down quietly. Their final moments are filled with a fierce determination, a determination that refuses to be cowed, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Their sacrifice becomes the very definition of heroism. They fight not for victory, but for the legacy they will leave behind. Their bravery will be remembered, and it will inspire the rest of Greece to unite against the Persian threat. The battle at Thermopylae, though lost, becomes a rallying cry for the future as the Spartans are slaughtered. The emotional weight of the loss settles in. But in their final stand, Leonidas has accomplished something far greater than simply delaying the inevitable. His sacrifice serves as a catalyst for the Greek city-states, uniting them in their fight against the Persian Empire. The legend of the 300 will spread far and wide, and their courage will fuel the Greek resistance. Their defiance in the face of certain death will become a symbol of hope for the future. The camera pulls back, showing the carnage at Thermopylae. The once proud Spartan warriors lie lifeless, their bodies scattered across the battlefield. Yet their spirits endure. The Persians may have won the battle, but they have not won the war. Leonidas's legacy will echo through time, his name forever associated with the valor and courage of the Spartan warriors. The Spartans may have fallen, but their cause will live on. Meanwhile, Queen Gorgo, still in Sparta, faces her own battle. Having fought against the political corruption that sought to undermine Leonidas's decision to march to Thermopylae, she now works tirelessly to secure support for the war effort. Her determination and courage match that of her husband. As the news of the Spartan defeat reaches Sparta, Queen Gorgo continues to fight for the future of her people. Her role in the narrative is a reminder that the war is not just fought on the battlefield, it is fought in the courts, in the hearts and minds of the people. She works to rally support for the Greek cause, ensuring that Leonidas's sacrifice is not in vain. As the news of the 300's heroism spreads, a shift begins to take place in the hearts of the Greek people. The message is clear. The Persian Empire, with all its vast power and resources, can be defeated. The sacrifice of the 300 sparks a fire in the Greek city-states. Their resolve is strengthened, and the groundwork is laid for a united front against the Persian invaders. The people of Greece rise up, inspired by the bravery of the Spartans and the courage of their fallen king. In the final act, we see the Greek forces, united and determined, facing off against the Persians in a decisive battle. The message of 300 is clear. The Spartans may have been defeated, but their sacrifice has ignited a flame that cannot be extinguished. The film closes with a powerful image of the Greek soldiers, standing tall, ready to fight for their freedom. Their courage, fueled by the legend of the 300, will lead them to victory, and the Persian Empire will never be the same. As the final credits roll, the weight of the Spartan sacrifice lingers. The legacy of the 300 is cemented in history, and the battle at Thermopylae becomes a symbol of resistance, a testament to the power of courage and defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. 300 is not just a war film. It's a story about the power of legacy, of standing up for what you believe in, no matter the cost. The Spartans may have fallen, but their story will never be forgotten. It will inspire generations to come. In the end, 300 reminds us that victory is not always defined by the outcome of the battle. Sometimes it is defined by the courage to stand firm, to fight for what you believe in, and to leave a legacy that transcends time. The story of the 300 is a story that will continue to resonate, a powerful reminder of the human spirit's capacity to rise above even the greatest challenges. And as the last of the Spartans fall, their names live on, forever etched in history as the embodiment of courage, honor, and sacrifice. At the heart of 300 is the indomitable spirit of its characters, each one embodying different aspects of heroism, sacrifice, and the harsh realities of war. The film's exploration of these individuals, particularly Leonidas, takes us on a journey that extends far beyond mere physical battle. Every decision they make, every action they take, adds layers to their personalities, making them more than just warriors. They become symbols of a larger cause. Let's delve deep into the characters and their roles in shaping the narrative of 300. Leonidas, portrayed by Gerard Butler, stands at the forefront of the film, a king who is both a warrior and a leader. His character is a complex mix of stoic leadership and emotional depth. Leonidas is not a king who stays behind the scenes. He is on the front lines, leading by example, wielding his spear and shield alongside his men. His strength lies not only in his physical prowess but also in his ability to inspire those around him. The bond between Leonidas and his warriors is forged in battle, in the shared knowledge that their survival depends on each other's courage and trust. He knows his actions will lead to his death, yet he continues because he believes in the larger purpose of his sacrifice. For Leonidas, this isn't just about Spartan pride. It's about standing up for freedom, defying tyranny, and ensuring that future generations can live without fear of oppression. His leadership style is built on the Spartan ideals of loyalty, bravery, and honor, yet we also see his humanity. There is a moment of vulnerability when he must send his wife, Queen Gorgo, away from the battlefield, knowing it may be the last time he sees her. His love for her is palpable, and in a brief moment of calm, the vulnerability in his eyes reveals the depth of his sacrifice. His strength, both as a warrior and a leader, is solidified in his refusal to bend to the will of the Persian Empire, despite their overwhelming might. Leonidas is an archetype of the warrior king, driven not by personal ambition but by the desire to defend his people and their way of life. His courage, both on and off the battlefield, becomes the bedrock upon which the entire film rests. Queen Gorgo, played by Lena Headey, is another key figure whose strength matches that of her husband. While Leonidas leads the army, Gorgo leads Sparta in her own way, fighting political battles that reflect the themes of power, manipulation, and resistance. Gorgo's role in the film is more than just that of a supportive wife. She is a force to be reckoned with in her own right. From the moment we see her, it's clear that she is as much a leader as Leonidas. She possesses a sharp intellect, a strong sense of justice, and an unwavering resolve to do what is right for her people, even in the face of adversity. Her most pivotal moment comes when she confronts the Council of Elders, challenging their cowardice and manipulation. Gorgo's interaction with Theron, the corrupt politician, serves as one of the film's most memorable scenes. She refuses to let her husband's sacrifice be in vain, fighting not only for the future of Sparta but also for her own sense of integrity. Gorgo's actions symbolize the quiet yet powerful role that women played in shaping history, even in times when they were expected to remain in the background. She is not just the Queen of Sparta, she is a leader in her own right, showcasing that power is not just held in the hands of kings but also in the hearts of those who are unafraid to fight for what they believe in. Theron, the antagonist in the film, is a character whose betrayal and lust for power provide a stark contrast to the values that Leonidas and Gorgo represent. Played by Dominic, Theron is a politician who embodies the corruption and moral decay of those who seek power for personal gain. His role in the film highlights the theme of political manipulation and the moral cost of compromise. Theron's actions, especially his alliance with the Persians, show that his loyalty lies not with Sparta or its people, but with his own ambitions. His character serves as a foil to Leonidas's integrity, as Theron's actions are driven by self-interest, while Leonidas's are driven by honor and the greater good. Despite his corrupt nature, Theron represents an aspect of humanity that cannot be ignored: ambition and self-preservation. His actions speak to the darker side of leadership, the side that is willing to sacrifice moral principles in favor of personal gain. He manipulates Gorgo, using her grief and his own twisted sense of power to try and bend her will, but ultimately he fails. His ultimate fate serves as a reminder that those who betray their own principles will, in the end, be consumed by their own treachery. Theron's character, though despicable, provides a necessary contrast to the honorable warriors, emphasizing the stark difference between true leadership and the hollow pursuit of power. Then, there are the 300 Spartans, each of whom plays a critical role in the narrative. Though many of them remain nameless, they are far from anonymous. These warriors, who follow Leonidas into battle, embody the collective spirit of Sparta. Each of them carries the weight of their homeland's history, a history of fierce independence and resilience. These men are not mere soldiers. They are brothers, bound together by an unshakable bond forged in blood and sacrifice. Their loyalty to Leonidas is unwavering, and even in the face of certain death, they stand by his side, ready to die for the ideals they hold dear. Among these warriors, the most prominent are Stelios, played by Michael Fassbender, and Astinos, played by Tom Wisdom. Stelios, the fearless fighter with a deep sense of duty, represents the young, idealistic Spartan who dreams of heroism, while Astinos, the son of one of the older warriors, embodies the tragic nature of sacrifice. Their friendship and camaraderie highlight the personal relationships that grow within the ranks of soldiers who fight together. These Spartans are more than just warriors. They are fathers, sons, and brothers, each with their own motivations for standing with Leonidas. In the film's portrayal of these warriors, their unity is their greatest strength. It is their collective spirit, the understanding that they fight not just for themselves, but for each other, that makes them so formidable. Each of these warriors is given moments of individual recognition. Whether it's their combat skills or their quiet moments of reflection, the film humanizes these figures, showing that beneath the armor and the shields, they are people with families, dreams, and the same fears as any man. Their deaths on the battlefield serve as the ultimate reminder of the cost of war, and yet their sacrifice is not in vain. It is a testament to the human spirit's ability to rise above fear, above death itself, to fight for something greater. In contrast to the strength and unity of the Spartans, the Persian forces, led by Xerxes, are portrayed as an overwhelming force of sheer numbers and opulence. Xerxes, played by Rodrigo Santoro, is not just a ruler. He is a godlike figure, adorned with gold and surrounded by an army of monstrous warriors. His character, though larger than life, is emblematic of tyranny and oppression. Unlike Leonidas, who leads with honor, Xerxes rules with fear and manipulation, using his vast resources to overwhelm his enemies. Xerxes's arrogance is his greatest flaw. He believes that his empire is invincible, that his wealth and numbers will crush any resistance. However, his inability to understand the strength of the human spirit, as exemplified by Leonidas and his warriors, ultimately leads to his downfall. Xerxes's character is the embodiment of unchecked power, and in his pursuit of conquest, he overlooks the one thing that cannot be bought: freedom. Finally, there is the role of the Oracle, a figure who symbolizes the mystical and divine forces that influence the fate of the characters. The Oracle's prophecy, which initially suggests that Leonidas will fail, serves as a dramatic plot device that creates tension and uncertainty. However, it also represents the idea that fate is not always set in stone. Even prophecies can be defied by human courage and willpower. The Oracle's visions give the film a supernatural element, adding another layer of depth to the story and showcasing the conflict between fate and free will. Each of these characters, from the heroic Leonidas to the traitorous Theron, contributes to the complex web of themes that 300 explores. Through their actions, motivations, and interactions, the film portrays not just the battle at Thermopylae, but the eternal struggle between freedom and tyranny, honor and betrayal, and life and death. The characters' personal sacrifices, relationships, and principles serve as the foundation of the film, making 300 not just a war movie, but a story about the strength of the human spirit and the power of collective unity. As the Spartans fight and die for their beliefs, they become symbols of resistance and courage, leaving behind a legacy that transcends the battlefield. The making of 300, 2006, is as epic as the story it tells on screen. With its distinct visual style, intense performances, and groundbreaking use of digital effects, the film became a phenomenon that captivated audiences around the world. But behind the striking visuals and memorable battles lies a wealth of fascinating, sometimes strange, facts about the production process. These stories reveal the challenges, quirks, and unexpected occurrences that shaped the film into the iconic piece of cinema it became. Let's dive into some of the strangest and most fascinating facts about the making of 300, peeling back the curtain to reveal how it all came to life. One of the most striking aspects of 300 is its unique visual style, and much of that is due to the decision to shoot the film almost entirely in front of a green screen. Director Zack Snyder, known for his bold choices and love of visual storytelling, envisioned the film as a graphic novel brought to life. Rather than relying on traditional sets or location shooting, most of 300 was filmed on a soundstage, where the actors performed in front of green screens, and nearly everything else was added digitally. The decision to use green screen extensively allowed Snyder to craft an exaggerated, stylized world that felt larger than life. The film's vivid, highly saturated colors, dark shadows, and epic battle sequences are all products of this approach. What audiences didn't know, however, was the amount of painstaking work and preparation that went into creating this visual style. The green screen was, at times, an extremely challenging environment for the actors. Without the real-world sets or the vast landscapes of ancient Greece to interact with, the actors had to rely on their imagination and the guidance of Snyder. Gerard Butler, who played Leonidas, admitted that acting against a green screen was an unusual experience. With little to no physical environment to react to, he had to rely heavily on his fellow actors and Snyder's direction to bring the world of Sparta to life. But Butler and the cast were up for the challenge, knowing that the final product would be a visually stunning masterpiece. The famous Spartan kick scene, for example, in which Leonidas kicks a Persian envoy into a well, was entirely created using digital effects. There was no actual well, just a green screen, and the sequence was enhanced with CGI to give it its now iconic look. Speaking of Gerard Butler, his commitment to the role of Leonidas was nothing short of extraordinary. To prepare for the physically demanding role, Butler underwent an intense training regimen. However, what most people don't know is just how grueling that preparation was. The actor's workout plan for the film was designed by Mark Twight, a former competitive alpine climber who was known for his unorthodox training techniques. For 6 days a week, Butler participated in grueling workouts that included everything from weightlifting to running, all while sticking to a strict, high-protein diet. The training regimen was designed to make him look as close to a Spartan warrior as possible, and it certainly paid off. But perhaps the strangest part of his preparation was the intense focus on aesthetics. Twight's workout philosophy wasn't just about getting in shape. He wanted the actors to look as though they were carved from stone, chiseled and muscular, much like the classical statues of ancient warriors. To this end, Butler's body transformation became a point of pride, with the actor later admitting that he had never been in such peak physical condition in his life. The results were evident on screen, with Butler's portrayal of Leonidas embodying the perfect Spartan warrior. Another surprising fact about the production of 300 was the involvement of Frank Miller, the legendary comic book creator who wrote and illustrated the original graphic novel. While many know that Miller's graphic novel inspired the film, fewer people realize just how involved he was in the production process. Miller was heavily involved in the creative aspects of the film, and his vision was integral to its success. However, one of the most bizarre aspects of his involvement was that he was, in a way, acting as both a creator and a consultant. Miller was so protective of his work that he initially balked at the idea of having the film adapted. But when Snyder and producer Gianni Nunnari convinced him to join the project, Miller brought his unique flair for visual storytelling and character development to the table. His work was so deeply ingrained in the film that, in a sense, 300 became more of an adaptation of Miller's artwork than a traditional film. Miller's influence wasn't just limited to the visuals. His involvement even extended to the casting. The actor chosen to portray the character of Xerxes, Rodrigo Santoro, went through an extreme transformation to embody the Persian king. To achieve the otherworldly, almost godlike appearance of Xerxes, Santoro had to undergo hours of makeup and prosthetics work. The most bizarre part of his transformation was the decision to have him completely bald and covered in gold makeup. Santoro wore large gold tattoos on his face and body, as well as an elaborate headdress, making his character appear more like a deity than a mortal king. The amount of makeup and prosthetics required to achieve this look was so extensive that it took several hours every day for Santoro to get ready for his scenes. The final result, however, was a hauntingly memorable portrayal of Xerxes, a character whose appearance perfectly matched his grandiose ego. While the film's visual style was undeniably striking, it was the music that truly helped elevate 300 to epic heights. The film's score, composed by Tyler Bates, was another essential element in creating the film's atmosphere. Bates's score blends orchestral, rock, and electronic elements to create a sound that is both ancient and modern, much like the visual style of the film. The music helps to create tension, drive the action, and heighten the emotional resonance of the characters' struggles. But perhaps one of the strangest facts about the score is the story behind the song Horrible Bosses, which became an unofficial anthem of the film. The track was composed as a result of a late-night jam session, and its driving, intense rhythm perfectly encapsulates the energy and ferocity of the battle scenes. Despite not being originally intended to be a part of the soundtrack, the song became so popular with the filmmakers that it was included in the final cut. 300's impact extended far beyond the screen and into popular culture. The film's signature look, with its stylized combat, slow-motion sequences, and muscular heroes, became immediately iconic, influencing countless films, commercials, and parodies in the years that followed. But one of the strangest and most unexpected consequences of the film's success was how it led to a new wave of historical epics in Hollywood. Directors were now inspired to create films with similar visual aesthetics and larger-than-life heroes, resulting in a surge of films that attempted to replicate the stylized violence and grandeur of 300. This influence can be seen in films like Clash of the Titans, 2010, and Immortals, 2011, both of which used similar visual techniques to create their epic worlds. And then there are the numerous parodies and references that have emerged in the years since 300's release. From political memes to references in other films, the iconic "This is Sparta" line became a cultural touchstone, instantly recognizable to anyone who has seen the film. The line itself, spoken by Gerard Butler as Leonidas, became one of the most quoted lines in modern movie history, further cementing the film's place in pop culture. In a world where many movies fade from public consciousness after their release, 300 has endured, its influence still felt in cinema and media. Its visual style, its themes of honor and sacrifice, and its larger-than-life characters have left an indelible mark. The strange and fascinating behind-the-scenes stories only add to the legacy of 300, reminding us that the making of a great film is often just as compelling as the story it tells. Whether it's the dedication of the cast, the innovation of the filmmakers, or the bizarre occurrences that took place during production, every aspect of 300 played a part in creating the cinematic epic we know and love today. 300, 2006, is more than just a visually captivating action film. It is a visceral and emotional experience that left a lasting mark on both the cinematic world and popular culture. Directed by Zack Snyder and based on the graphic novel by Frank Miller and Lynn Varley, the film brings the Battle of Thermopylae to life with unprecedented style and intensity. Its blend of mythic storytelling, jaw-dropping visuals, and raw emotion has drawn critical attention since its release. Let's dive into the significant events of the film from a critical perspective, examining how they contribute to the movie's overall impact, its reception, and the emotional resonance that continues to resonate with audiences around the world. One of the most pivotal events in 300 is the opening sequence, where Leonidas, Gerard Butler, addresses his warriors before leading them into battle. From the moment the film begins, the tone is set for what will be an epic journey of sacrifice, courage, and honor. This event serves as a microcosm for the themes of the film. The Spartans, known for their unwavering commitment to their ideals, are shown as a unified, almost mythical force, ready to fight for their land and their people. The intensity with which Butler delivers Leonidas's speeches, combined with the music by Tyler Bates, creates a sense of unstoppable momentum. The opening sequence doesn't just serve as a backdrop for the film's physical violence. It provides the foundation for the emotional journey that will unfold. But 300 is not just about the relentless pursuit of glory. The movie dives deep into the nature of leadership and the cost of unwavering loyalty to one's beliefs. When Leonidas consults with his council, seeking permission to go to war against the Persian Empire, his request is denied. This pivotal moment sets the stage for the film's exploration of what happens when the quest for power and honor collides with political compromise. Leonidas's refusal to back down from his beliefs, even in the face of political opposition, is what drives the narrative. His decision to march into battle with a mere 300 warriors in tow demonstrates a level of courage and defiance that resonates with audiences and critics alike. But at the same time, it raises questions about the nature of power, leadership, and the cost of following one's convictions at all costs. Leonidas's stubbornness and pride might be seen as a heroic trait, but the film also hints at the darker side of his character. His refusal to heed the advice of his peers ultimately leads to devastating consequences. In fact, the tension between individualism and the greater good becomes one of the film's central themes. Throughout 300, Leonidas is often presented as a symbol of unwavering determination and valor. His refusal to compromise with the Persians and his belief in the righteousness of his cause make him an idealized hero. But as the film progresses, it becomes clear that this unyielding attitude, while admirable in some respects, can also be a tragic flaw. Critics have pointed out that Leonidas's downfall is rooted in his inability to balance personal pride with pragmatism. His journey is one of defiance, but also one of loss, a leader who gives everything for his country, even though he knows it may cost him everything. This emotional complexity is what makes 300 more than just an action spectacle. It asks hard questions about sacrifice, the nature of heroism, and the cost of absolute loyalty. The Battle of Thermopylae itself is, of course, the defining event of the film. Snyder's approach to this sequence, using slow-motion photography, a saturated color palette, and rapid cuts, imbues the battle with an intensity that is unparalleled. The imagery here is iconic. Men clashing in brutal combat, arrows flying through the air, and Leonidas at the center, slashing through his enemies with unmatched fury. From a critical perspective, the battle serves as both a visual and emotional climax. The stakes are at their highest, and the audience is fully invested in the outcome. But beyond the physical spectacle, the battle represents a moment of truth for the characters involved. For the Spartans, the battle is more than just a fight for survival. It is a moment to prove their strength, their unity, and their commitment to their homeland. Critics have noted that the depiction of Spartan warriors in 300 is almost mythic in its portrayal, with the warriors resembling demigods rather than ordinary men. This larger-than-life depiction serves to elevate the stakes, giving the audience a sense that the battle is not just a historical event but an eternal clash between good and evil. The film plays with these larger-than-life themes, and in doing so, it amplifies the emotional weight of each moment. In contrast, the Persians, led by the towering Xerxes, Rodrigo Santoro, are presented as a decadent, overindulgent force, one that relies on excess rather than honor. The film contrasts the Spartans' stoic discipline with the Persians' luxurious opulence. This contrast heightens the stakes and makes the eventual showdown all the more compelling. Critics have pointed out that the Persians are depicted as morally corrupt and tyrannical, while the Spartans are shown as noble defenders of their freedom. This black-and-white portrayal of good versus evil may not be historically accurate, but it serves to underscore the thematic elements of heroism and sacrifice. In this sense, the battle is a representation of the clash between two ideologies: the Spartan ideal of unity, strength, and freedom versus the Persian Empire's quest for domination. What makes the Battle of Thermopylae so emotional is the ultimate realization that the Spartans, despite their valor, are doomed. The arrival of the Persian reinforcements, led by the treacherous Ephialtes, signals the inevitable fall of the Spartans. This betrayal, a key event in the narrative, represents the harsh reality that even the bravest warriors cannot stand forever against overwhelming odds. The emotional impact of this moment is amplified by the knowledge that Leonidas's final stand is one of futility. His death, and the deaths of his soldiers, are portrayed with a poignant sense of inevitability. The film's slow-motion sequences during these final moments emphasize the emotional weight of the soldiers' sacrifices, and the score amplifies the grief and heroism of the scene. This tragic inevitability is a key aspect of the film's emotional resonance. While 300 is filled with scenes of intense action and triumph, it is also deeply concerned with the emotional cost of war. The movie's focus on death, sacrifice, and loss adds a layer of complexity to the story, turning it from a simple action film into an exploration of the human spirit under extreme pressure. The film raises questions about the price of honor and whether the pursuit of glory is worth the cost of human life. As Leonidas dies, he leaves behind a legacy that is both heroic and tragic. His death is a sacrifice for the greater good, but it also highlights the futility of resistance against overwhelming power. This duality, of honor and futility, gives the film its emotional power, making it resonate with viewers on a deeper level than typical action fare. Another crucial event that contributes to the film's thematic depth is the subplot involving Queen Gorgo, Lena Headey. While the majority of the film focuses on Leonidas's struggle in the battlefield, Gorgo's storyline provides an emotional counterpoint to the action. As Leonidas's wife, she is left behind to navigate the political challenges at home. When the council refuses to support her husband's war, Gorgo's fight becomes one of diplomacy and survival. This subplot is often cited by critics as a critical element in balancing the film's themes of power, loyalty, and sacrifice. Gorgo's determination to secure support for her husband's cause illustrates that heroism comes in many forms, not just on the battlefield. Her resilience, in the face of political opposition and personal loss, provides a much-needed emotional anchor to the story. Critics have praised Headey's performance for its strength and depth, noting that she brings a grounded human element to a film that otherwise deals with exaggerated mythic figures. The final resolution of 300 is a mix of tragedy and triumph. The death of Leonidas may seem like the end of the Spartan story, but in the closing moments, the film shifts its focus to the broader impact of their sacrifice. The final line, delivered by Dilio's David Wenham, serves as a reminder that while the Spartans may have perished, their legacy lives on. Their courage inspired the rest of Greece to rise up against the Persian Empire, leading to the eventual defeat of Xerxes. The emotional impact of this conclusion is amplified by the film's earlier focus on sacrifice, making the audience feel that the Spartans' deaths were not in vain. In conclusion, 300 is a film that resonates deeply with audiences, not only because of its visual flair and epic battle sequences but also because of its emotional and thematic depth. From the initial speech by Leonidas to the final death scenes, every event in the film is carefully constructed to elicit a response from the viewer. The themes of sacrifice, honor, and the cost of war are explored in ways that make 300 more than just an action movie. It is a meditation on the human spirit, the complexities of leadership, and the price of freedom. The film's ability to balance these weighty themes with its stunning visual style is what has made it a cinematic touchstone, one that continues to captivate and provoke discussion years after its release. The making of 300, 2006, was nothing short of a cinematic revolution. Directed by Zack Snyder, this film, based on Frank Miller's graphic novel, is a bold, stylistically unique depiction of the Battle of Thermopylae. From its striking visual style to its groundbreaking use of technology, the production process behind 300 is as much of an epic tale as the story it tells. As the film went from page to screen, there were numerous challenges, innovations, and stories that shaped its eventual success. So let's step behind the scenes and explore the fascinating journey that brought this visually stunning and culturally impactful film to life. The first thing that stands out about 300 is its unmistakable visual style. The film is saturated with rich, vibrant colors, and the landscapes seem both surreal and hyper-real. What many don't know is that the film was shot almost entirely on green screens, with much of its environment digitally created in post-production. The idea was to make the world feel like an artistic, painterly vision, almost as if the screen were a canvas. This technique was inspired by Frank Miller's original graphic novel, which had a highly stylized, almost comic book-like appearance. From the beginning, Snyder and his team were determined to stay faithful to Miller's aesthetic while utilizing modern filmmaking technology to bring the artwork to life. The choice to shoot 300 on green screens was a bold move, and it required an incredible amount of coordination and attention to detail. The film's production designer, James D. Bissell, and his team meticulously built only a handful of physical sets, just enough to give the actors something tangible to interact with. Everything else was constructed digitally, from the mountains and deserts to the intricate designs of the Persian Empire. This approach was a massive departure from traditional filmmaking, where elaborate sets and practical effects were used to create worlds. Instead, 300 relied heavily on CGI, computer-generated imagery, to achieve its epic scope. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of the production process was the use of virtual environments. The cast would perform in front of green screens, with the world around them created in post-production. Snyder was adamant that he wanted to immerse the actors in this fictional world, so the green screen environment was often enhanced with digital backdrops that helped them react to the imaginary scenery. The process was painstaking, but it allowed for a greater sense of visual freedom, enabling the film's creators to create the unique world of 300 without the constraints of physical sets or real-world locations. The result was a highly stylized, immersive environment that helped bring Miller's graphic novel to life in a way never seen before. Of course, creating such a film required a collaborative effort from a vast team of talented individuals. The film's cinematographer, Larry Fong, was instrumental in achieving the movie's distinct look. His work on 300 was a key factor in the film's success. Fong, known for his work on Sin City, 2005, a fellow graphic novel adaptation, used a unique color palette and lighting techniques to evoke the feeling of a comic book. The warm, golden tones of the Spartan side contrasted sharply with the cool, blue tones of the Persians. This visual dichotomy helped distinguish the two opposing sides and heightened the emotional stakes of the story. Through Fong's lens, every frame of 300 felt like a painting, each image carefully constructed to elicit a specific emotional response from the audience. The slow-motion action sequences, in particular, were a signature part of the film's visual style, and Fong's cinematography captured these moments with stunning clarity. The use of slow motion was not just an artistic decision but a deliberate choice to enhance the storytelling. Zack Snyder and his team wanted to convey the raw power and violence of battle, but they also wanted to give the audience a chance to appreciate the physicality and intensity of each moment. Slow motion allowed the film's battle sequences to breathe, giving the audience time to fully absorb the intricacies of the choreography and the visceral nature of the combat. The result was an action film that wasn't just fast-paced and frenetic but also deeply deliberate in its visual execution. It allowed for moments of reflection within the chaos of battle, emphasizing the stakes of each clash between the Spartans and the Persians. In addition to the groundbreaking visuals, the film's use of sound and music was another integral part of its identity. Tyler Bates, the composer, created a haunting and epic score that perfectly complemented the film's tone. His music was a mix of orchestral and electronic elements, blending traditional cinematic sounds with modern, aggressive beats that mirrored the intensity of the film's action. The soundtrack of 300 is known for its powerful and memorable motifs, particularly the main theme, which has become iconic in its own right. The music plays a crucial role in heightening the emotions of the film, building tension during moments of suspense and exploding into bombastic rhythms during the action scenes. It's not just a background element but an integral part of the storytelling, guiding the emotional rhythm of the film. Behind the action, however, there were more than just technical innovations. The production of 300 was a physically demanding process for the cast, and the actors had to undergo intense preparation to get in shape for their roles. Gerard Butler, who played the central character of Leonidas, famously underwent a grueling training regimen to prepare for his role. Butler's transformation into the Spartan King was a major talking point at the time, as he bulked up and became one of the most iconic action stars of the 2000s. His dedication to the physicality of the role was evident, as he spent months training in martial arts, sword fighting, and intense physical conditioning. The actor's commitment to his role helped sell the larger-than-life portrayal of Leonidas, making him a true cinematic hero. The preparation wasn't just for the lead actors. These workouts were designed to simulate the physical strength and endurance that the Spartans would have had, with a focus on building core strength, stamina, and agility. The actors had to push their bodies to the limit, with many of them going through months of intense training before the cameras ever started rolling. The commitment and physical prowess of the actors was crucial in bringing the Spartan warriors to life on screen. Another interesting aspect of the production was the use of prosthetics and makeup to create the distinct look of the characters, especially the Persians. Xerxes, the Persian king, was portrayed by Rodrigo Santoro, and his character was given a towering, otherworldly appearance, complete with gold body paint and elaborate jewelry. The makeup team worked tirelessly to create the exaggerated, fantastical look of Xerxes, making him appear larger than life. Similarly, the film's prosthetics were used to create the grotesque and exaggerated figures of the Persian soldiers, giving them a more monstrous, dehumanized quality. These visual elements helped to underscore the film's portrayal of the Persians as decadent and morally corrupt, while the Spartans were depicted as noble and pure. The filming process was not without its challenges. One of the most notorious difficulties was shooting the action scenes, particularly the complex battle sequences. The physical demands of these scenes were immense, and the actors had to perform many of their own stunts. In particular, the sequences that involved sword fighting and hand-to-hand combat were painstakingly choreographed. The team relied heavily on rehearsals to perfect the timing and movement of the actors, and every punch, slash, and kick had to be executed with precision. The actors and stunt coordinators worked closely together to ensure the action was both believable and dramatic. The battle sequences were often shot in multiple takes to capture the necessary angles and speed, adding to the intense physicality of the production. One particularly fun fact about the production is the use of Spartan training camps, where the cast bonded and underwent intense physical training. These camps weren't just for getting into shape, they were also designed to immerse the actors in the Spartan mindset. In these camps, the actors would participate in exercises designed to simulate the grueling conditions of ancient warfare. They were taught not only physical combat but also mental resilience, learning how to push through pain and exhaustion, much like the warriors they were portraying. The camaraderie forged in these camps translated to the film's strong sense of unity among the Spartans, making the warriors' bond on screen feel genuine and authentic. Another piece of trivia that emerged from the production was the use of real weapons on set. Although much of the film relied on digital effects for creating the world and the action, the cast often wielded real swords, shields, and spears during their fight scenes. The props were carefully crafted to resemble the weapons used by the Spartans, and their weight and design contributed to the realism of the battles. The actors trained with these weapons, learning how to wield them effectively for the fight sequences. The use of real weapons added an element of authenticity to the scenes and helped the actors get into character, bringing a tangible sense of danger to their performances. The production of 300 was, in many ways, a groundbreaking experience. From the innovative use of green screens and digital effects to the physical training and commitment of the cast, every aspect of the film's creation was meticulously crafted to bring Frank Miller's vision to life. Through determination, collaboration, and a keen sense of artistry, the team behind 300 managed to create a film that would go down in history as one of the most iconic action movies of the 21st century. The challenges faced during production only served to enhance the final product, making the film a testament to the power of innovation, dedication, and the art of filmmaking. The setting and cinematic elements in 300, 2006, serve as more than just a backdrop for the story. They are integral to the film's immersive and visceral atmosphere. Zack Snyder, the film's director, and cinematographer Larry Fong worked hand in hand to create a world that feels both otherworldly and intensely real, using a combination of stylized visuals, color palettes, and dynamic camera work. 300 is known for its distinctive visual style, drawing heavily from Frank Miller's graphic novel, and the setting and cinematography go hand in hand to amplify the film's raw energy, emotional stakes, and mythic narrative. Every decision regarding the world of 300 was made with precision, contributing to a film that transcends the limits of traditional historical epics. The film's setting, both in terms of physical locations and the world within the story, is one of its most remarkable features. The entire movie was filmed almost entirely against green screens, with very few physical sets. This unique choice allowed the filmmakers to craft a visually striking world entirely in post-production. Rather than depicting a realistic version of ancient Greece, the movie's setting is a hyper-stylized, dreamlike interpretation, both raw and fantastical. The result is an aesthetic that stands apart from anything else, with vibrant, exaggerated colors and expansive landscapes that transport the audience into a world of warriors, gods, and monsters. The primary location for the story is the narrow pass of Thermopylae, a real historical site where the famous Battle of Thermopylae took place in 480 BC. The pass itself is central to the plot, as it's where King Leonidas and his 300 Spartan warriors make their stand against the overwhelming Persian army. However, while the battle itself was grounded in historical events, the way 300 presents Thermopylae is anything but historically conventional. The landscape is more surreal than realistic, with enormous, sweeping desert vistas and craggy mountain backdrops, all seemingly suspended in time. The location is imbued with a sense of timelessness, as if the events of the film are unfolding in a mythological dimension, not bound by the laws of reality. The world feels epic, ancient, and fraught with an otherworldly tension, one that allows the characters to seem larger than life. This stylized world is brought to vivid life through a careful mix of production design and visual effects. For instance, the cliffside where Leonidas delivers his rousing speech to his troops before battle is both imposing and majestic, a fitting prelude to the spectacle that follows. The towering rocks and jagged peaks feel unreal, almost as if the mountains themselves are watching the Spartans. The world they inhabit is one where every location, whether it's the Spartan home, the battlefield, or the ominous Persian palace, is designed to be both beautiful and threatening. The Persian Empire is introduced as a stark contrast to the Spartan homeland, emphasizing the film's central dichotomy: freedom versus tyranny, honor versus decadence. The setting of the Persian Empire is lavish and extravagant, filled with gold and opulence, but it is also unsettling and grotesque, reflecting the moral and physical corruption of its rulers. The iconic throne room of Xerxes, the Persian king, is a vast, open space that oozes excess. Everything in this realm is exaggerated, from the oversized sculptures to the extravagant, almost unearthly presence of Xerxes himself, who towers over his subjects with an aura of divine authority. The setting plays a huge role in defining the moral stakes of the film, with the barren, stark Spartan environment symbolizing the purity of purpose and the sprawling Persian palaces symbolizing the hollow excesses of a broken empire. The contrast between the Spartan world and the Persian world is mirrored in the film's use of color. The Spartan side is dominated by warm, earthy tones, golds, reds, browns, that suggest both strength and sacrifice. These colors are reflective of the rugged, utilitarian Spartan lifestyle, where warriors train tirelessly in the harsh environment of the Greek landscape. On the other hand, the Persian world is dominated by cooler colors, deep blues and greens, as well as metallic tones of silver and gold. The opulence of the Persian Empire feels more superficial, as though it's a world built on illusion rather than substance. This color differentiation creates a visual language that helps the audience understand the philosophical and moral divide between the two factions without needing explicit exposition. The colors of the two worlds serve to deepen the thematic weight of the film, highlighting the core conflict of freedom versus oppression. One of the most remarkable aspects of the film's setting is its use of slow-motion sequences. These sequences not only contribute to the film's signature visual style, but also enhance the setting's ability to convey emotion and tension. During battle scenes, the slow motion captures the brutality of the warriors' movements, each thrust of a sword or swing of a spear magnified for maximum impact. The vast, open desert landscapes stretch endlessly, creating a sense of isolation and inevitability as the Spartans prepare to face overwhelming odds. The slow-motion shots enhance the visual spectacle of the battle while also adding to the meditative quality of these moments. Each clash of blades becomes a dance, a struggle that is more than just physical combat. It becomes a spiritual confrontation, one that evokes honor, sacrifice, and the weight of history. The slow-motion scenes in the film are as much about emotion and theme as they are about action, making each battle feel like a timeless struggle between good and evil. The cinematography of 300 is another essential element that elevates the film's setting. Larry Fong's bold use of lighting and shadows creates a mood that is both intense and haunting. The interplay of light and dark is particularly striking in scenes that involve the supernatural or mythological elements. For example, the scenes involving the Oracle, where the camera lingers in the dim, shadow-filled chambers of the temple, evoke a sense of mystery and foreboding. These scenes are suffused with an ethereal light that highlights the mystical nature of the Oracle's visions, giving the impression that these characters are operating within a realm that exists outside of normal time and space. Fong's cinematography enhances the supernatural elements of the story, creating a sense that the characters are not just engaged in a battle for survival, but also in a battle that transcends mere mortal concerns. Equally impressive is the way the camera moves through the environments, often immersing the viewer in the action and drama. In battle sequences, the camera moves in tight, intimate close-ups, following the Spartans as they clash with the Persians, creating an almost claustrophobic sense of chaos. The rapid cutting and dynamic angles emphasize the brutality of the combat, while the choreography of the actors and the composition of the shots allow each movement to feel deliberate and significant. These action sequences are not just about spectacle, they're about capturing the inner strength of the characters. The camera positions the audience directly in the heart of the battle, making us feel every strike and every sacrifice as if we were standing alongside the Spartans. In addition to these dynamic sequences, the film also uses wide shots to create a sense of scale and grandeur. The desert landscape stretches out in every direction, reinforcing the sense of isolation felt by the Spartans as they fight against the tide of history. In these wide shots, the Spartans appear as tiny figures against the vastness of nature, reminding the audience of the sheer scale of the task they have undertaken. These wide shots also allow for sweeping vistas that showcase the beauty and danger of the environment, whether it's the imposing mountain ranges that serve as a backdrop to the battlefield or the open skies that suggest the vastness of the Persian Empire. The visual effects in 300 are another crucial aspect of the setting. As most of the landscapes were digitally created, the world itself feels like an artistic creation rather than a natural one. The use of CGI allows for an exaggeration of scale and depth that enhances the story's mythical quality. For example, the vast Persian army is portrayed as an endless sea of soldiers, their numbers almost uncountable as they march towards the Spartans. These scenes, brought to life with visual effects, convey the overwhelming nature of the threat the Spartans face, making the tension between the two sides even more palpable. The film doesn't just show a battle. It shows the eternal struggle between freedom and tyranny, using its visual language to make that struggle feel larger than life. The film's use of visual motifs and symbolism further deepens the setting. The Spartan shields, for example, are not just tools of war but symbols of unity and brotherhood. The iconic red cloaks worn by the Spartans signify both their military strength and their willingness to embrace the bloodshed of battle. These visual elements are more than just surface-level details. They help convey the deeper themes of the film and anchor the audience in the world of 300. Each detail, from the Spartan armor to the Persian robes, is meticulously crafted to enhance the atmosphere and contribute to the story's themes. The setting of 300 is not just a backdrop for action. It's an integral part of the film's identity. Every aspect of the environment, from the stark, minimalist Spartan landscapes to the opulent yet morally corrupt Persian palaces, reflects the ideological clash at the heart of the story. The cinematography, visual effects, and production design all work in harmony to create a world that is both surreal and grounded in emotional truth. It's a world that invites the audience to lose themselves in the epic struggle between freedom and oppression, honor and decadence. Through its striking visual choices and masterful use of cinematic techniques, 300 creates an unforgettable atmosphere, one that lingers long after the credits roll. Behind the scenes of 300, 2006, the making of the film was just as intense and dramatic as the story it told. The journey from script to screen was filled with remarkable challenges, surprising moments, and unique experiences that shaped the film's final product. Directed by Zack Snyder, the film's production was unlike any other at the time, with its revolutionary use of green screen technology, stylistic visual effects, and intense physical demands placed on the cast. Let's take a closer look at the behind-the-scenes insights, fun stories, challenges, and how the cast and crew worked together to bring the vision of 300 to life. From the moment 300 began pre-production, the scale of the movie became apparent. Adapted from Frank Miller's graphic novel, the film sought to bring Miller's artwork to life on the big screen. But the road to realizing this vision wasn't as straightforward as one might think. Although the graphic novel was a massive visual inspiration, its distinctive art style presented its own set of challenges for the filmmakers. A traditional historical epic, with expansive on-location shooting, was out of the question due to budgetary concerns and the filmmakers' desire to maintain the stylistic nature of Miller's world. Instead, the decision was made to shoot almost the entire film on green screens, creating a digital world where almost every environment, no matter how vast or small, was painted or digitally enhanced. One of the most surprising aspects of the production was just how much of the movie was created in post-production. Most of the scenes were filmed on a soundstage with minimal physical sets. The green screen allowed for a world to be built around the actors that was visually dynamic and, at times, fantastical. This approach would prove to be revolutionary in filmmaking, though it required a team of visual effects artists, designers, and editors working tirelessly to craft the virtual environments. The attention to detail was incredible, and the film's digital backgrounds, despite being computer-generated, added to the film's unique feel, making the world feel both mythological and stylized. The interaction among the cast and crew during filming was key to creating the high-energy environment on set. The ensemble cast, led by Gerard Butler as King Leonidas, was put through physically grueling training to achieve the incredible physiques they sported on screen. Butler, along with his fellow Spartans, underwent an intense workout regimen to ensure they looked the part of the fiercely disciplined warriors they portrayed. The training was both physically demanding and mentally exhausting, as the actors had to learn to move and fight like Spartans while preparing for the action-packed battle scenes. Butler was known for his dedication to the role and was often seen leading by example. The actor pushed himself and his fellow cast members to their limits, encouraging camaraderie and unity among the warriors. He was known for his fierce motivation and willingness to do whatever it took to ensure the success of the film. Butler later revealed that one of the most rewarding parts of the experience was the bond that formed between the actors, especially during the intense physical training. This brotherhood, which mirrored the unity of the Spartans on screen, extended beyond the film's production and became a source of pride for the actors. On set, the cast and crew were highly collaborative, with Snyder at the helm guiding the creative vision. The director was deeply involved in every aspect of the production, from overseeing the choreography of battle scenes to collaborating with the visual effects team to craft the film's iconic look. Snyder's approach was hands-on and intimate, creating an environment where the actors could fully invest themselves in their roles. At the same time, his leadership helped to ensure that everyone on set, whether they were working on the visual effects, costumes, or choreography, was working towards a shared goal. The production design team played a crucial role in bringing the world of 300 to life. Though the physical sets were limited due to the green screen nature of the shoot, the team worked tirelessly to create detailed, practical elements that could be integrated into the digital world. The Spartans' iconic armor and weaponry, for example, were meticulously designed to reflect both the historical accuracy of ancient Greek armor and the stylized, exaggerated look of the graphic novel. The attention to detail was evident in every piece, from the elaborately crafted shields to the intricately designed helmets. The challenges faced during filming were significant, particularly because of the physical demands placed on the cast. The battle sequences were particularly grueling, as the actors had to perform fight choreography in front of a green screen with very little to interact with beyond their fellow actors and the occasional prop. This required a great deal of imagination and focus, as the cast had to visualize the battles and understand how their characters were interacting with the digital world around them. The lack of tangible surroundings also made it difficult for actors to ground themselves in the scenes, but they quickly adapted, using their training and instincts to perform the action convincingly. One of the most remarkable aspects of 300 was its commitment to practical effects wherever possible. While the film made extensive use of CGI to create the sweeping landscapes, armies, and special effects, the filmmakers still employed practical effects to capture the raw physicality of battle. The stunts, choreographed by a team led by renowned stunt coordinator and fight choreographer Andy Chung, were executed with precision and intensity. The actors worked closely with the stunt team, often rehearsing for weeks to ensure the combat sequences were as authentic as possible. These practical effects added a visceral weight to the film's action scenes, allowing the audience to feel the physicality of the characters' movements and the impact of their strikes. The creation of the famous slow-motion battle sequences, a hallmark of the film's visual style, was a technical challenge in and of itself. The filmmakers wanted to capture the dramatic, larger-than-life nature of the combat, and slow motion was used to exaggerate the intensity of every strike and blow. This technique was achieved by shooting scenes at high frame rates, allowing the footage to be slowed down without losing detail. The slow-motion sequences were not just stylistic flourishes, they also served to emphasize the significance of each action, as though the audience was witnessing the turning points of history unfold in real time. Each spear thrust, sword clash, and shield strike was heightened for dramatic effect, amplifying the tension of the battle scenes and giving them an epic quality. There were also moments on set that were completely unexpected. For example, in one scene where King Leonidas delivers his famous "This is Sparta" line, Gerard Butler, who was known for his intense energy, gave an impromptu, over-the-top performance. The line, which would later become iconic, was delivered with such raw emotion and fierceness that it caught everyone on set off guard. The crew, including the actors, were taken aback by the intensity of the moment, and Snyder decided to keep the original take, knowing that it perfectly encapsulated the fierce determination of Leonidas. The unexpectedness of the performance added a layer of spontaneity to the film, showing that the actors were fully immersed in their roles. During the filming of the battle scenes, there were also many challenges in terms of the actors' physical condition. Many of the actors were required to perform in high-intensity combat sequences in extreme heat, often in full armor. These grueling days on set were physically exhausting, and at times, the actors suffered from dehydration and exhaustion. Despite these challenges, the cast pushed through, driven by their commitment to bringing the Spartans' legendary courage and resilience to life. The behind-the-scenes determination and perseverance mirrored the story of 300 itself, a tale of warriors who defied overwhelming odds to make a stand for honor and freedom. The film's cinematography also added another layer of complexity to the production. The green screen shots required the lighting to be precise and consistent, which was difficult to achieve, especially during the long hours on set. Cinematographer Larry Fong worked closely with Snyder to ensure that each shot felt dynamic and true to the world of 300. Fong's innovative use of color and lighting helped to evoke a sense of otherworldliness, creating an atmosphere that was both ethereal and grounded in raw emotion. The challenge was in balancing the digital world with the emotional weight of the story, and the collaboration between Fong and Snyder resulted in a visually stunning, cohesive film. As the shoot continued, the crew became a tight-knit family, bound together by their shared love of the film and their commitment to achieving the impossible. The interaction between the actors and the crew was one of camaraderie and mutual respect, as everyone understood the challenge they faced. They all worked toward one goal, to create a film that would not only tell the story of the Battle of Thermopylae but also celebrate the timeless courage of the Spartans. Despite all the challenges and unexpected moments, 300 ultimately emerged as a cinematic triumph. It pushed the boundaries of filmmaking, using new technologies, innovative techniques, and a passion for storytelling to craft an unforgettable experience. Behind every fight scene, every slow-motion battle, and every dramatic speech, there were countless hours of hard work, collaboration, and determination. The film's production may have been grueling, but it also became a testament to what can be achieved when a dedicated team of filmmakers, cast, and crew work together to create something epic. Behind the scenes of 300, 2006, the making of the film was just as intense and dramatic as the story it told. The journey from script to screen was filled with remarkable challenges, surprising moments, and unique experiences that shaped the film's final product. Directed by Zack Snyder, the film's production was unlike any other at the time, with its revolutionary use of green screen technology, stylistic visual effects, and intense physical demands placed on the cast. Let's take a closer look at the behind-the-scenes insights, fun stories, challenges, and how the cast and crew worked together to bring the vision of 300 to life. From the moment 300 began pre-production, the scale of the movie became apparent. Adapted from Frank Miller's graphic novel, the film sought to bring Miller's artwork to life on the big screen. But the road to realizing this vision wasn't as straightforward as one might think. Although the graphic novel was a massive visual inspiration, its distinctive art style presented its own set of challenges for the filmmakers. A traditional historical epic, with expansive on-location shooting, was out of the question due to budgetary concerns and the filmmakers' desire to maintain the stylistic nature of Miller's world. Instead, the decision was made to shoot almost the entire film on green screens, creating a digital world where almost every environment, no matter how vast or small, was painted or digitally enhanced. One of the most surprising aspects of the production was just how much of the movie was created in post-production. Most of the scenes were filmed on a soundstage with minimal physical sets. The green screen allowed for a world to be built around the actors that was visually dynamic and, at times, fantastical. This approach would prove to be revolutionary in filmmaking, though it required a team of visual effects artists, designers, and editors working tirelessly to craft the virtual environments. The attention to detail was incredible, and the film's digital backgrounds, despite being computer-generated, added to the film's unique feel, making the world feel both mythological and stylized. The interaction among the cast and crew during filming was key to creating the high-energy environment on set. The ensemble cast, led by Gerard Butler as King Leonidas, was put through physically grueling training to achieve the incredible physiques they sported on screen. Butler, along with his fellow Spartans, underwent an intense workout regimen to ensure they looked the part of the fiercely disciplined warriors they portrayed. The training was both physically demanding and mentally exhausting, as the actors had to learn to move and fight like Spartans while preparing for the action-packed battle scenes. Butler was known for his dedication to the role and was often seen leading by example. The actor pushed himself and his fellow cast members to their limits, encouraging camaraderie and unity among the warriors. He was known for his fierce motivation and willingness to do whatever it took to ensure the success of the film. Butler later revealed that one of the most rewarding parts of the experience was the bond that formed between the actors, especially during the intense physical training. This brotherhood, which mirrored the unity of the Spartans on screen, extended beyond the film's production and became a source of pride for the actors. On set, the cast and crew were highly collaborative, with Snyder at the helm guiding the creative vision. The director was deeply involved in every aspect of the production, from overseeing the choreography of battle scenes to collaborating with the visual effects team to craft the film's iconic look. Snyder's approach was hands-on and intimate, creating an environment where the actors could fully invest themselves in their roles. At the same time, his leadership helped to ensure that everyone on set, whether they were working on the visual effects, costumes, or choreography, was working towards a shared goal. The production design team played a crucial role in bringing the world of 300 to life. Though the physical sets were limited due to the green screen nature of the shoot, the team worked tirelessly to create detailed, practical elements that could be integrated into the digital world. The Spartans' iconic armor and weaponry, for example, were meticulously designed to reflect both the historical accuracy of ancient Greek armor and the stylized, exaggerated look of the graphic novel. The attention to detail was evident in every piece, from the elaborately crafted shields to the intricately designed helmets. The challenges faced during filming were significant, particularly because of the physical demands placed on the cast. The battle sequences were particularly grueling, as the actors had to perform fight choreography in front of a green screen with very little to interact with beyond their fellow actors and the occasional prop. This required a great deal of imagination and focus, as the cast had to visualize the battles and understand how their characters were interacting with the digital world around them. The lack of tangible surroundings also made it difficult for actors to ground themselves in the scenes, but they quickly adapted, using their training and instincts to perform the action convincingly. One of the most remarkable aspects of 300 was its commitment to practical effects wherever possible. While the film made extensive use of CGI to create the sweeping landscapes, armies, and special effects, the filmmakers still employed practical effects to capture the raw physicality of battle. The stunts, choreographed by a team led by renowned stunt coordinator and fight choreographer Andy Chung, were executed with precision and intensity. The actors worked closely with the stunt team, often rehearsing for weeks to ensure the combat sequences were as authentic as possible. These practical effects added a visceral weight to the film's action scenes, allowing the audience to feel the physicality of the characters' movements and the impact of their strikes. The creation of the famous slow-motion battle sequences, a hallmark of the film's visual style, was a technical challenge in and of itself. The filmmakers wanted to capture the dramatic, larger-than-life nature of the combat, and slow motion was used to exaggerate the intensity of every strike and blow. This technique was achieved by shooting scenes at high frame rates, allowing the footage to be slowed down without losing detail. The slow-motion sequences were not just stylistic flourishes. They also served to emphasize the significance of each action, as though the audience was witnessing the turning points of history unfold in real time. Each spear thrust, sword clash, and shield strike was heightened for dramatic effect, amplifying the tension of the battle scenes and giving them an epic quality. There were also moments on set that were completely unexpected. For example, in one scene where King Leonidas delivers his famous "This is Sparta" line, Gerard Butler, who was known for his intense energy, gave an impromptu, over-the-top performance. The line, which would later become iconic, was delivered with such raw emotion and fierceness that it caught everyone on set off guard. The crew, including the actors, were taken aback by the intensity of the moment, and Snyder decided to keep the original take, knowing that it perfectly encapsulated the fierce determination of Leonidas. The unexpectedness of the performance added a layer of spontaneity to the film, showing that the actors were fully immersed in their roles. During the filming of the battle scenes, there were also many challenges in terms of the actors' physical condition. Many of the actors were required to perform in high-intensity combat sequences in extreme heat, often in full armor. These grueling days on set were physically exhausting, and at times, the actors suffered from dehydration and exhaustion. Despite these challenges, the cast pushed through, driven by their commitment to bringing the Spartans' legendary courage and resilience to life. The behind-the-scenes determination and perseverance mirrored the story of 300 itself, a tale of warriors who defied overwhelming odds to make a stand for honor and freedom. The film's cinematography also added another layer of complexity to the production. The green screen shots required the lighting to be precise and consistent, which was difficult to achieve, especially during the long hours on set. Cinematographer Larry Fong worked closely with Snyder to ensure that each shot felt dynamic and true to the world of 300. Fong's innovative use of color and lighting helped to evoke a sense of otherworldliness, creating an atmosphere that was both ethereal and grounded in raw emotion. The challenge was in balancing the digital world with the emotional weight of the story, and the collaboration between Fong and Snyder resulted in a visually stunning, cohesive film. As the shoot continued, the crew became a tight-knit family, bound together by their shared love of the film and their commitment to achieving the impossible. The interaction between the actors and the crew was one of camaraderie and mutual respect, as everyone understood the challenge they faced. They all worked toward one goal, to create a film that would not only tell the story of the Battle of Thermopylae but also celebrate the timeless courage of the Spartans. Despite all the challenges and unexpected moments, 300 ultimately emerged as a cinematic triumph. It pushed the boundaries of filmmaking, using new technologies, innovative techniques, and a passion for storytelling to craft an unforgettable experience. Behind every fight scene, every slow-motion battle, and every dramatic speech, there were countless hours of hard work, collaboration, and determination. The film's production may have been grueling, but it also became a testament to what can be achieved when a dedicated team of filmmakers, cast, and crew work together to create something epic. The filmmaking techniques used in 300, 2006, were groundbreaking, pushing the boundaries of what was possible in visual storytelling and establishing a distinct, iconic style that would influence action films for years to come. Under the direction of Zack Snyder, the team used a variety of innovative tools to create a movie that felt not only epic in scope but deeply personal in the way it connected with the viewer. From the battle-heavy sequences to the philosophical dialogue about honor, sacrifice, and freedom, every element of the film, from sound to cinematography, was carefully chosen to amplify the impact of the story. Let's dive into the filmmaking techniques that brought 300 to life and explore how they helped to shape the movie's atmosphere and the experience of its audience. At the heart of the film's groundbreaking style was its visual aesthetic. 300 was known for its heavy use of stylized visuals, based on the graphic novel by Frank Miller. The world of the Spartans was brought to life in a way that felt like a living, breathing comic book, full of exaggerated colors, dramatic lighting, and meticulous detail. The film's visual language was not just about creating a fantastical world, but about immersing the audience in the heightened reality of the Spartans' final stand. One of the defining techniques was the heavy reliance on green screen technology. Almost every scene in the film was shot in front of a green screen, allowing the filmmakers to digitally create expansive landscapes, massive armies, and surreal environments. This approach wasn't just about creating spectacle. It was a storytelling device in and of itself. The film's use of green screen and visual effects became a reflection of the heightened, mythic quality of the story. By placing the characters in digital environments, Snyder was able to give the film a larger-than-life, almost surreal atmosphere. The exaggerated look of the film, where landscapes and backgrounds were vividly painted or manipulated, made the world of 300 feel less like a historical retelling and more like a mythic battle between good and evil. This hyper-stylized look created a dreamlike, timeless quality that fit perfectly with the legendary nature of the Spartan story. One of the most defining filmmaking techniques in 300 was the use of slow motion. The battle scenes, in particular, are filled with moments of slow-motion photography that magnify every swing of a sword, every clash of shields, and every drop of blood. Slow motion had been used in films before, but 300 took this technique to new heights, emphasizing the visceral impact of battle. Each individual strike was given immense weight, turning what could have been quick, chaotic combat into a mesmerizing, almost poetic series of moments. These slow-motion sequences weren't just about showing action. They were about slowing down time to reflect the emotional intensity of the events unfolding. The decision to employ slow motion was not simply an aesthetic choice but a deliberate narrative tool. By isolating specific moments in time, Snyder was able to give the audience a deeper connection to the emotions and motivations of the characters. These battle sequences, where the slow-motion action was combined with the pounding rhythm of the soundtrack, turned the Spartans into mythical warriors whose every move carried monumental weight. Their actions weren't just physical. They were symbolic, representing their unyielding spirit, their brotherhood, and their unwavering commitment to their cause. In terms of cinematography, 300 was also a masterclass in how to use light and shadow to enhance a film's mood and tone. Cinematographer Larry Fong worked closely with Snyder to craft every shot with precision, using lighting to create contrast and texture. One of the most striking visual techniques was the film's color palette. The dominant use of golds, reds, and earthy tones gave the movie an ancient, almost biblical feeling. These warm, saturated colors contrasted with the cooler tones of the enemies they faced, visually emphasizing the difference between the Spartans and their Persian adversaries. This color palette, combined with the sharp contrast between light and dark, made every battle feel like a grand and timeless spectacle. The film's use of shadows also played a significant role in creating a sense of mystery and tension. Throughout the film, shadows are used to evoke a sense of foreboding, as well as to visually suggest the larger forces at work in the battle. The shadowy darkness of the Persian army, for example, looms over the Spartan warriors, heightening the tension and illustrating the impending doom that the Spartans face. In contrast, the warm, golden light that bathes the Spartans emphasizes their strength, unity, and heroism, making them appear almost radiant in comparison to the darkness of the world around them. In addition to these visual techniques, 300 utilized an innovative approach to sound design and music. The soundscapes of the film were intricately designed to immerse the audience in the brutality and intensity of the battles. The sounds of clashing swords, shields, and armor were amplified, bringing an almost tactile sensation to the viewer's experience. The sound design was crafted to make the audience feel the weight of every strike, every impact, and every breath, enhancing the film's visceral intensity. The sound was also used to punctuate moments of emotional significance, from the stirring speeches by King Leonidas to the solemn moments of loss and sacrifice. The soundtrack of 300, composed by Tyler Bates, was equally essential in shaping the film's atmosphere. The music was epic in scope, using a mix of orchestral and electronic elements to create a sense of grandeur and tension. The score's pounding rhythmic beats perfectly matched the intensity of the battle scenes, while the slower, more melancholic moments were supported by haunting melodies that reflected the emotional weight of the story. The soundtrack became iconic in its own right, with tracks like Victory and The Persian Army amplifying the energy of the battle scenes and the heroic themes of the film. Bates' score was also marked by its minimalistic approach, which allowed the sound effects and dialogue to take center stage when necessary. In particular, the lack of a heavy orchestral score during some of the quieter, more intimate moments created a stark contrast to the loud, energetic battle scenes. This dynamic use of sound allowed for emotional highs and lows, drawing the audience in and keeping them on the edge of their seats. The music, much like the visuals, contributed to the mythic feel of the film, making it feel like an ancient epic brought to life with modern cinematic tools. Editing also played a crucial role in shaping the pacing and tone of 300. The film was edited with a sense of urgency, cutting quickly between scenes of intense action and moments of quiet reflection. This quick-paced editing style kept the film feeling dynamic and engaging, while also maintaining a sense of rhythm in the storytelling. In the battle scenes, the editing was used to create a sense of chaos and intensity, cutting rapidly between different Spartans as they fought off waves of Persian soldiers. At the same time, the editing was also deliberate during the slower moments, allowing the audience to fully absorb the emotions and themes being explored. The seamless integration of visual effects, practical effects, and editing made the action scenes in 300 feel as if they were part of a cohesive, unstoppable force.